So today's video is going to be on the subject of bonds, and specifically bond valuation. And the reason this is an incredibly important subject to understand is because there are three major investments that you're going to typically have in whatever you're investing in. The first is real estate, and you'll see that in purchasing homes, buying a property and renting it out. That's one possibility. The second is investing in equity, and equity is typically things like ownership in a company through stocks, mutual funds related to that. And then the third option are debt investments. And bonds are one of the largest out of that. And when I say debt, what effectively I mean is you're actually lending money to someone else in return for interest and then a promise of getting that money back in the future. So you're not taking on debt yourself, you're actually being the lender in that situation. And that's what I mean by debt in this video. And bonds are one of the largest sort of types of debt investments that you'll have available to you when choosing investments. So what effectively a bond is when you're lending money to an organization, it might be a company, a government, something along those lines, you're giving them a certain amount of money, let's say it's $1,000, for a certain period of time, let's say it's 10 years, in return for a set interest rate over that time. And in this example, let's say it's 5%. So you're giving a company $1,000. Every year they're going to pay you 5% on that, $50, and then after that 10 years comes up, what they're going to do is give you that $1,000 back. So that effectively is what a bond would be with an organization. Now, there is a caveat to bond evaluation, and there's a sort of a specific thing that sets it aside from some of the other debt instruments out there, and that is that you can sell a bond before that 10 years or whatever your timeline is for that bond comes up. So you can sell it before that 10 years, say after 5 years, but that presents a problem. And let's use an example to sort of explain that. So let's use the same numbers as before. You've purchased a bond for $1,000 from a company at 5% because 5% was what the market was offering at the time, and it is for 10 years. Now, after 5 years, you decide that you want to start a business and you need that money to get you off the ground. Now, you go to your friend and say, okay, I want to sell you this bond for $1,000. It offers you 5% each year, and after 5 years that remain on that time, you'll get that $1,000 back. But there's an issue here, and the issue is that over that 5 years, interest rates have changed. It's no longer at that 5% that you initially purchased the bond at. Now they're at 10%. And here's what happens. The individual that you're trying to sell this bond to says, wait, I can go to that same company that you bought your bond from. They're still looking for money, and they'll offer me a bond for $1,000 that provides a 10% return because that's where the markets are at right now for 10 years. I can get $100 each year from them for the same amount of money. Why would I purchase yours? It doesn't make sense. So what do you have to do? You need this money for your company or for whatever reason it might be. Well, you would have to go back to the same person and say, okay, here's what I'm going to do. Instead of charging me $1,000 for this bond, I'm going to give it to you for $800. And what that means is you'll still get a $50 return each year. It's less than the market. But after those 5 years, you're going to get the difference between the $800 and the $1,000. You're going to get that $200 difference, which together with the $50 each year will mean that it's the same value as the bond at 10% offered by the company now, and the person will likely say, okay, yeah, I'll purchase it for you. So because interest rates have risen, you have to reduce the face value of your bond when you sell it in order for it to be equal with what's in the market. And that works in the reverse too. In the same example, let's say that you bought it at 5%, now interest rates go down to 2%. Well, you wouldn't go up to the same person and say, here, I'll sell you this for $1,000. That doesn't make sense because that person, the best sort of alternative for them would be to go out and purchase a bond that offers 2% return. They would only get $20 each year comparatively to the $50 from yours. So you would be able to say, you know what, I'm not going to sell you this for $1,000. I'm going to sell it for $1,100. So that $100 difference is a premium charged because your bond is worth more than what would be available in the market. So really the key thing to understand with bond evaluation is that if you expect interest rates to go up, so the value of your bonds will go down because At higher interest rates, someone in the market will just go and purchase the bond with a higher interest rate. And in order for your bond to be the equal value to the new bonds with a higher interest rate, you have to sell yours for less. So you want to avoid that. If you think interest rates are going to go up, you do not want to invest in bonds unless you're in for the long haul, because you'll have to sell it for less when you do choose to exchange that. It also works in the reverse though. When you expect interest rates to go down, the value of your bond will go up, because you'll be able to go to the same person and say, well, I earn a better return than what you could get in the market right now for investing $1,000, so you have to pay me more than $1,000 to purchase my bond because you're going to make more money from it. So that's really the key thing to understand with bond evaluation. Interest rates go up, your bond value is going to go down. If you expect interest rates to go down, bond value is going to go up. That's the key thing with bonds, and hopefully that helps outline sort of what to look for with market trends when you're thinking about purchasing bonds. They're still a very safe investment choice, and even if you're not really looking to monitor the markets and understand which way interest rates are going, they're still going to provide you with a consistent return, and they're still going to provide you with that safety comparatively to equity and other potential investment options. So as always, if you like the video, very much appreciate likes, shares, and subscribes. It helps me create more content and grow as a channel.